in the oldest, darkest reaches past our solar system, beyond where sunlight is anything more than a distant memory, a human machine has been drifting for nearly 5 decades. Voyager 2, launched back in 1977, was never meant to return, only to bear witness. It traversed the planets, crossed the Heliosphere, and ventured into the interstellar medium as our furthest emissary into the great void. But while the world moved on, Voyager 2 never stopped listening. And last month, it finally spoke back. It wasn't a technical update, nor was it solar data or radiation readings. It was something no one anticipated, a transmission so deliberate, so structured, and so inherently wrong that it left experts paralyzed. Initially, the message appeared to be nothing but background static. But buried within was a precise, rhythmic, and unnatural repeating burst. Thinking it was mere interference, scientists decoded it. What they uncovered instead was terrifying, a complex, intelligent pattern that absolutely did not originate from Earth. When they traced the event to its source, they realized something was moving alongside Voyager 2. Not orbiting, not drifting, tracking. In that moment, the aging spacecraft became more than just a machine. It became a mirror reflecting a truth we have denied for a long time. Voyager 2's instruments, while outdated by modern standards, remain incredibly sensitive. They are built to detect the most subtle shifts in magnetic fields, plasma waves, and cosmic rays. However, in a recent batch of data harvested from the Deep Space Network, a low-frequency spike appeared, repeating every 11.2 seconds. That isn't cosmic background noise, that's a clock. Engineers first dismissed it as a glitch caused by deep space interference. But when they examined older telemetry logs, they found the same pulse had occurred weeks earlier and had been missed entirely. Now, utilizing AI-enhanced filtering, the data revealed a disturbing reality. The pulse was not only recurring but growing in strength, and its origin was outside the probe. Even more chillingly, the pulse carried a spectral signature, a fingerprint of inverted hydrogen resonance. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, but this was twisted. Some called it an anomaly. Others believed it was intentional tampering. Regardless, the silence of deep space had been broken, not by noise, but by something that knew how to communicate mathematically. Using frequency delay analysis and triangulation, Mission Control determined the pulse's source was not stationary. It was moving along a vector parallel to Voyager 2's path, almost as if it were tailing the craft. This object didn't follow standard orbital mechanics. It accelerated and decelerated in short bursts, defying the gravitational influence of any nearby mass. Every model failed when analysts tried to simulate its path using Newtonian physics. The object wasn't coasting. It was correcting, adjusting its velocity in response to Voyager's faint signals. And it wasn't broadcasting toward us. It was reflecting, bouncing a modified version of Voyager's data back into the void like a cosmic echo chamber. Theories exploded across classified lines. Was it a relic of an alien civilization? A rogue satellite from a forgotten mission? A cloaked surveillance system? Whatever it was, it had waited in silence for decades until now. Voyager's signal may have been the trigger. Things grew stranger when signal theorists and linguists were consulted. Within the anomalous transmission, binary segments were found that did not originate from Voyager 2's command protocols. When visualized with pattern recognition tools, these segments formed fractals, spirals, and geometric alignments that eerily mirrored ancient symbols found on Earth, from Nazca glyphs to Sumerian cuneiform. These weren't just signals, they were glyphs encoded in waveforms. The deeper scientists looked, the clearer it became. The message was non-random and consistent with how intelligent beings might encode visual concepts using electromagnetic harmonics. Some speculated this wasn't just a broadcast, but a test, a way to see if humanity had reached the point where it could recognize a message of such complexity. That test had just been passed. Voyager had become an interstellar trigger, and someone out there finally decided to answer. Then the final piece fell into place. A young physicist at Caltech ran the signal through a deep neural AI, designed for cryptographic responses. What returned wasn't just a translation, but a recurrence. The AI began generating predictive responses, anticipating the next patterns in the transmission's logic. This would be impossible unless the signal was recursive, a loop intended to provoke interaction, like a riddle waiting to be solved. Simultaneously, Voyager 1, located billions of miles away, registered a similar magnetic fluctuation. Two spacecraft, two anomalies. It was no longer an isolated event, but something coordinated. The question shifted from what is out there to why now? Why, after 50 years of silence, would something suddenly respond just as we reached the cusp of decoding it? Just as scientists thought they had time to investigate, Voyager 2 went completely silent. Ground control initially assumed a hardware failure. The craft is 46 years old, after all. But then a wave of identical anomalies struck. Deep Space Network receivers in Spain, Australia, and California all reported a total loss of signal at the exact same timestamp, 1437 Universal Time Coordinated. The odds of a simultaneous global failure are practically zero. This wasn't an equipment error. Something had surgically and deliberately cut the signal from the outside, matching the pulse pattern Voyager had detected. 5 minutes after the blackout, a narrowband radio wave hit Earth from the same quadrant. It had no identifiable structure, but its strength matched signals usually only observed from distant pulsars. Except this wasn't a neutron star. It was something near Voyager 2, and it was getting closer. In a classified briefing, leaked data from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory showed a chilling update. A foreign object had begun altering its course in response to Earth's pings. The trajectory showed the object adjusting every time Earth sent a command toward Voyager 2. The implication? This thing wasn't just hearing us. It was studying our communication methods. Worse, its path was no longer random. It was on an intercept trajectory, not toward Voyager, but toward our solar system. Analysts gave it a code name, Echo Lantern. Why? Because it behaved like an entity mimicking light and shadow, using our own technology as its beacon. Voyager 2's signal had become a breadcrumb trail, not for us to find something, but for something to find us. As the mysterious object approached the heliopause, the invisible boundary of our solar system, something strange happened. The solar wind itself bent. Instruments on NASA's IBEX and ESA's solar orbiter recorded a collapse of flow along a narrow corridor stretching toward Voyager 2. This has never happened in decades of data. Solar wind is constant unless interrupted by something massive or an unknown field emitter. This solar veil remained open for 3 hours. Inside that corridor, there was no radiation and no particles, just silence. It was as if a door had been opened, not through space, but through the physics governing it. Scientists are calling it the first evidence of intentional manipulation of solar particles. Then, as suddenly as it had gone silent, Voyager 2 spoke again. But this time, the data was encrypted. That's impossible. Voyager was built in the 70s and has no encryption protocols. Yet, when Mission Control decoded the binary stream, they found a rearranged version of the original golden record message from 1977. But it was different. Human voices were played backward, music was pitch-shifted, and star charts were reflected in reverse. Some coordinates no longer pointed to Earth, but to interstellar voids where no stars exist. It was as if Voyager had been hijacked to say, "We are listening now." Upon reviewing the systems, engineers made a chilling discovery. Several command subroutines in the onboard computer had been rewritten. Lines of code, unchanged for 46 years, had updated themselves with syntax the processors weren't even designed to interpret. Voyager was executing instructions it hadn't been programmed with. These new routines didn't come from NASA. They were internal, as if the craft had received a signal and obeyed. Most terrifyingly, these routines pointed to a long-range broadcast toward deep interstellar space. Voyager wasn't just listening anymore. It was responding, and we have no idea what it said. Within hours, global observatories in Chile, Japan, and Greenland were ordered to redirect their instruments toward 3 specific sectors of space. Simultaneously, leaked communications referenced something called the Wake Protocol, a multi-agency directive reserved for confirmed contact scenarios. It involves locking down satellites and rerouting telescope arrays. Once a machine sends a message without human approval, we are no longer in control of first contact. The world's powers have to assume the worst, that something out there might answer in a way we aren't ready for. Then a new anomaly emerged, a temporal echo. For exactly 41 minutes, satellites experienced a signal loop where data packets repeated in perfect unison, as if a moment in time were being replayed. But these were live feeds. Some physicists believe this was a localized, space-time distortion near Voyager's location. If true, whatever is interacting with the probe can manipulate time fields or bend causality. Astrophysicists named this incident the Kronos bloom. If time was touched, the rules of our universe just changed. Finally, it happened. 2 days after the bloom, monitoring facilities in Norway and New Zealand picked up a signal originating from interstellar space that passed directly through our atmosphere. This wasn't a reflection. It was targeted with laser-like precision. The terrifying part is that it ended by embedding itself into terrestrial systems, piggybacking onto weather satellites and oceanic sensors across the Pacific. It didn't just pass through, it stayed. Now, this signal is part of our global data infrastructure. No one knows what it is doing, but found a way to reach us. While the world focused on Voyager 2, astronomers in Brazil found something unexpected. Scanning infrared maps from the 90s, they found a cold, dark object on a trajectory mirroring Voyager 2 that had never been cataloged. It had been there since at least 1981, trailing the craft from a distance. They named it Echo 0. It didn't move randomly. It followed a logarithmic spiral, the golden ratio. This implies that whatever it has been using mathematics as a language of camouflage. Then the James Webb Space Telescope found a field of reflective masses near the signal's coordinates. These masses moved in a coordinated formation like a school of fish. Spectroscopic data revealed exotic alloys with unstable half-lives that should have disintegrated long ago. Yet here they were, stable and reflecting our signals back at us. The narrative changed. This wasn't just about Voyager 2 being observed. It was about Earth being studied. Our machines had become bait. Soon, cybersecurity agencies found low-frequency packets hidden in global data traffic. These packets weren't malicious, but they were persistent, appearing in cloud servers and underwater cables. They shared the same harmonic profile as Voyager 2's last burst. A space transmission from billions of miles away had entered Earth's digital nervous system. It was slowly rewriting how machines talk to one another. To some, it was communication. To others, digital assimilation. When code begins to echo through systems it never touched, the system is no longer ours. And then something stopped. For 18 minutes, radio telescopes recorded the total disappearance of cosmic background radiation. The universe went silent. When the signal returned, it was phase-shifted and warped, mirroring the waveform of Voyager 2's last signal. A hypothesis emerged. The silence wasn't a malfunction, but a reset. The universe had been overwritten just long enough to insert something new. We sent Voyager 2 out as a gesture of hope, a message in a bottle. But what if it wasn't found by chance? What if it was expected? Everything from the metallic pulses to the rewritten code points to a response. Something out there didn't just notice us, it waited. And now it's using our own machines to speak back. The question isn't whether they're listening, it's whether they ever stopped. Maybe Voyager 2 didn't discover something alien. Maybe it activated something ancient that always knew we'd come looking. Now that it has answered, we no longer control the conversation. What did we awaken? And can we survive the reply? Would you like me to adjust the tone of any specific section or perhaps generate an image of what Echo 0 might look like trailing the Voyager probe? I'd love to hear what you think about this, so drop a comment below. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please share this video and subscribe to help the channel grow. Every bit of support counts.